Hey, I wanted to come to you today, have a little clip from a guy that I respect a lot, Rick Santelli. Rick Santelli is a bond trader, one of the biggest and smartest bond traders in the world by far, understands markets very, very well. Bond markets actually run and dictate what the stock markets do, if you didn't know that. So, with rates going up, I thought you might be interested to know, where are we headed? So, of course, I don't have a crystal ball at all, but I think what is interesting to note is, what Rick Santelli says. And here, I'll play a clip of it for you, and then I'll elaborate on it.
But there's your near 16%, 781 for your anniversary date. And the whole point of this chart is that we have a lot of potential room to run to the upside. So if somebody asked me and held a gun to my head and said, listen, the worst case scenario, where Treasury rate's going to go 10-year, I'd say in the next 7 years, you should be able to see 13.5%, 14%. Yes. Now, I'm not saying we get there, but I really want to stress you do not want to jump in front of this right now. But if this week closes under 4.75 and the high yield close remains in the 460s, you buy the market looking for a bit of a retracement to potentially get back down to 4.25 to 432. Or if it gets to 4.75 on a closing basis first, you liquidate the trade.
So you buy TLT below those levels. In other words, beta yields are going to go down in the short term. Otherwise, we're looking for. Why are rates going higher? It's because the economy is gangbusters, or because
Tyler Matson. Everybody clap for who loves Tyler. If you want to know where inflation is taking the markets and why, just look at government spending. The vigilantes have new horses and they're riding, and I really do think that is the answer. We are spending too much. We are not learning to cut back. As a matter of fact, I think we're out of control as we approach a $2 trillion deficit.
Now,
if you want to know,
if you heard what I heard, it's very interesting, right? We're going to 13 and 14% rates over the next 7 years. Even if he's wrong, the point is rates are going to continue to increase. How can that be? Well, it's pretty simple. Right now, mortgage rates are at 8%. We can expect those to go to 12 and 14%. We lived this back in the 70s with Carter, and now here we are again in the early 2020s living it with Biden. I mean, these guys are unbelievable how they're good at destroying economies. Rates are going to continue to increase because as we issue more debt, and these people in Congress and in the Senate do not understand basic math. And it's really simple. You don't spend more than you make. Unfortunately, right now, we're spending $1.85 trillion just to pay off the interest alone. So let me make it really simple for you. We have about $5 trillion that we get from tax revenues, the taxes that you and I pay. And that should be a break even, the government's a nonprofit entity, right? So they should be able to spend all $5 trillion of that dollars on programs, streets, roads, schools, defense, things that the government was designed for. They weren't designed to run our economy. And now they've taken over the economy, and you see how they just absolutely destroyed it. Every single congressman, every single senator, all of them. Okay. I'm not making any exclusions. Republican, Democrat, independent, it doesn't matter. They do not understand economies. You might find one or two in there that do, but they don't have. The majority of these people are just, they're out there making laws, raising money, and doing it in such a corrupt way that we're all disgusted by it, right? But how does all this affect your money? How do rates going up affect you and your livelihood and your money? Unemployment is actually increasing, and it's going to continue to increase. Job availability. Our own country having to spend $1.85 trillion just to service the interest alone on the debt that we owe other countries is scary, quite honestly. And so it's almost as if we're about to have a global margin call. And if you don't know what a margin call is, it's like when you don't have enough money, they just take what you have and they just swipe it and they just take everything from you and you own nothing anymore. So I think that the United States of America and our institution that has been thought of as so wonderful and so great has destroyed itself from the inside out. We'll see this because there's a lot of very smart economists out there that are talking about third quarter 2024, a depression much greater than in 1929. So if you can't even pay your debt of $1.85 trillion, that's in addition to the $5 trillion you already have. How are they paying that $1.85 trillion, Randy? Well, they're paying it because they're printing money. So they're adding more debt. So as they add more money into the system, it dilutes the value of the dollar. As the dollar dilutes, inflation increases. The way to stave off inflation is to what? Raise rates. So this is a never-ending game right now. As long as we have this administration, I don't even know if there's another administration that can come in that can clean this thing up. It's going to take a long time. It's going to take probably a civil war. So what should you do with your money? That's the question. People ask me all the time, what should I do with my money? And I'm going to tell you, safety and being on defense right now is the best way to play. If you are playing fully in the stock markets, you are playing Russian roulette with your money. And there are ways to protect your money that I can share with you where your money is 100% protected from stock market loss. And you still have the ability to earn stock market-like gains, but you'll never have to take a stock market loss. Well, that sounds too good to be true. Well, I've been doing this for 15 years, and I can promise you this strategy at pre-retirement, certainly at retirement, is one of the most valuable strategies that you will ever employ. And if you don't know about it, if nobody's ever talked to you about it, even if your friends and family have talked to you about something similar to this, they don't know. They don't understand how these products work. We are experts at this. And that's not to say that, we don't say that in a braggadocious way. It's just that we are experts at this. We know how to protect you in these times. And so I think it would really do you some good to give us a call and let us have a conversation with you about some of these strategies, how they can help you. And, I think you'll be surprised to find out in a time with such turmoil that you can still have a peace of mind to know that your money is safe from market loss. I don't care what institution you're with. I don't care what brokerage firm you're with. I don't care what individual advisor you're with. It doesn't matter. If you don't have a good portion of your portfolio in what I'm talking about, you are going to get destroyed probably next year in your portfolio, if not before then. Then you have increasing rates. We have terrible inflation. You're going to have to make more money to keep up with just costs and goods and services every day. We're in a tough situation, very, very tough situation. And you best be with a money manager or an advisor or somebody who understands these macroeconomic issues and understands the geopolitical issues that are also related to this, because these are times that we have never, ever seen. You say, oh, yeah, my grandfather used to talk about that, and he used to say the same thing, how different times were from when he was a kid. The fact of the matter is, these are times that have never been seen before. The corruption is so thick and so deep. inside the walls of the Congress and the Senate and inside our executive office that we are in dire need of solutions and people that are smart, that are running our country, that understand basic math. So when you listen to Rick Santelli, and I hope you'll listen to him again, because Rick Santelli is a very, very smart, wise bond trader, understands the markets, is really kind of giving you a heads up of what to be aware of. If you listen to what he says and you think about the fact that the 10-year bond could be at 13 and 14% over the next 7 years, that is frightening. And we think that they're eventually, the Fed's going to have to lower rates. They don't have to lower rates. They're as corrupt as anyone else. So I highly recommend that if all of your money is invested in the stock market, if all of your money is not in a safe place right now, you should be thinking about other strategies that will allow you to play defense in an economy that is falling apart so rapidly that we can't even keep up with it. So I implore you to call whoever you trust, whoever understands these types of situations, these economies, who's been there before. I implore you to call these people, have a good conversation with them, and ask them what they're doing with their money. It's a shame what's going on in this country. And I'll tell you, if you're looking for solutions, give us a call and we'd be glad to sit down with you and help you. Okay? I hope this helps a little bit, gives some kind of clarity to what's really going on in the world. And I could go on for hours, quite honestly, and you probably could too. But I can tell you, if you're not playing defense right now and you don't have the majority of your investable assets protected in some manner, and there's not only one way to protect your assets, there's not only one product, there's not only one strategy, there are several strategies in which you can also offset your portfolio with inflation by offset inflationary times. There's ways to do that, and we'd be glad to share that with you. So I hope you have a great day. Hope this made some sense to you, and I'll give you another update down the road.